Say what you will about the Summer Games Fest, one thing that was excellent was the release of Wave 2 DLC for Street Fighter 6. Now, the nicest thing about this was, I don't think there was anyone out there that had caught this beforehand. There were no leaks or anything, and I think it's really cool that they announced the first guest characters in the history of the Street Fighter series, with Mei Shiranui and obviously the protagonist of one of my favorite old school fighting games, which is Fatal Fury. That is Terry Bogard. In fact, you know he's the protagonist because he's the biggest guy on the box right there. There's Terry. Oh, we're getting the light. Oh, it's bad. The man right there, Terry Bogard. I was thrown off initially by the animation of the cutscene there with the low frame rate and stuff. Couldn't really tell what was going on, but it appears that Luke and Jamie are playing a game of Street Fighter or some kind of game there. Luke loses to Jamie. Jamie offers him a drink, ends up taking it for himself, and in comes Terry Bogard of SNK Fatal Fury fame. And honestly, I didn't see this coming. I don't think anyone did. With SNK having their own game coming out, with Fatal Fury City of Wolves on its way, we are expecting new content for that. So it's smart for SNK to throw that tie-in in. They did have their own trailer of City of Wolves. That game is actually looking pretty sick, and I am sure going to play it as soon as it comes out. These are two characters that have no link to Street Fighter, but they're still in that similar family, just kind of like having Cody from Final Fight coming into the Street Fighter series, or Hagar or something like that. Except this is a little more away from it. With Terry and Mei, you're going to get some really different types of characters into Street Fighter 6, and I'm all for it. There is some argument as to whether or not Terry is actually a Shoto character, but he does have some different mechanics, which if they work their way into Street Fighter 6, are going to be interesting to see how they work. But basically, they are two of the most famous characters from the Fatal Fury series. In addition to that, you have Elena, who I honestly don't know much about just because I didn't really play Street Fighter 4 and only a little bit of Street Fighter 5. But generally speaking, from Street Fighter 4, she was not looked along too kindly, mostly from her healing mechanic. So it'll be interesting to see how she's worked into this game. But last and certainly not least, and actually he's going to be the first character released later this month, is the return of M. Bison. Now he's going for the amnesia thing. He doesn't really know who he is. He just knows the name Bison. He's running around on a horse for whatever reason. He's trying to kind of recapture his knowledge of himself and what Bison always wants, which is gaining power, gaining control. So I guess you can take the memories out of the man, but you can't take the overwhelming tyrannical need for power. I guess that's just in his genetics, in his DNA. Now, the early gameplay from him looks super cool. You've got all of the obnoxious moves back again, like your Psycho Crusher, like the head stomps and everything else. So he will certainly be another very interesting character with how he's introduced. They are saying that he will have some commands that maybe previously were charge commands, but now they will have normal inputs. So that'll be another interesting thing. Overall, the look of the character is pretty cool. And you obviously still have that second outfit for those M. Bison purists out there that want to go back to pretty much the OG with the updated graphics. And say what you will about Street Fighter 6, but the way that they introduce their characters is pretty darn good. I can't say that there's been a single character that's fallen flat when they've been released. Aki, Ed, Akuma, even Rashid have all done super well. Now with the balance patches, they're all in a pretty good state. I guess you'd say Ed's probably the weakest of the bunch, but Rashid is super strong, and Aki with her buffs in the last patch is certainly competing at a high level. Akuma is almost busted on release. As some people have been pointing out, he's now the #1 character in the world for legend ranked characters, partially just because of the popularity, people putting the time into him again. But Akuma is potentially overtuned off the bat. Regardless, super hyped about that. They actually are kind of shooting their wad here, going from Akuma into M. Bison back to back, and within, I don't know, 2 months of the release of each other, which is pretty crazy overall. So excited to see what comes from this, excited to see how M. Bison affects the game. But let me know, how did you react to the Season 2 DLC release of Street Fighter 6? What do you think about the characters? Is Elena a big letdown compared to Terry, May, and Bison? And do you have more confidence in the Street Fighter 6 crew to bring Elena in a manner that makes more sense with Street Fighter 6 and the way that it's working? But if you're looking for more Street Fighter 6 content coming up and reviews of the upcoming characters, updates in terms of what's going on in the scene, keep it right here, throw a like and subscribe. It's a huge help to the channel, but that's going to do it for today. So until next time, this is Pyrus or Pyrus Gaming saying thank you for watching, and I will see you there. Let me get the hat. Can I do it? Can I do the hat flip? Oh, he just does that. That's terrible. Oh, God. He just does this. Okay, whatever. Good enough.